Okay, you're live.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our May meeting on May 15th, 2023 at noon. Meetings being held by Zoom as we have been doing for the past couple of years. So I will call this meeting to order, and I'm Steve Cooley, Commissioner.
Mark Land, Commissioner.
Tim Johnson, Commissioner.
Jason Vandermeer, Fire Chief.
Chief Ward, you there, or are you just listening? Okay, no worries. All right, we can see him on the screen, or
Yeah.
maybe he's just listening. No problem. Okay, that's roll call, and now I will check with the chief to see if we have anybody waiting to make a public comment.
No, sir. Nothing's been emailed in. No requests. Nothing last
Nobody
minute.
waiting in the wings. Okay, so no need for us to have a public comment period then, since nobody's there. So we'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda. All matters within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Board of Commissioners for review, are considered routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the board with no separate discussion. If a separate discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request. Today's consent agenda consists of the meeting minutes from two meetings: our regular meeting on April 17th, our regular commissioners meeting, and then our special meeting and public hearing on May 1st. That also includes staff reports from the chief and his operational and support people, as well as the financial report. It includes the voucher, payroll, and benefits information, which lists our direct deposit payroll for this month as $512, and our monthly expenditure voucher that we need to approve is $6,330. Our balances currently are showing our expense fund revenue for April was $788,449.02, and our total expenditures for May were $6,842. Any comments or questions about items on the consent agenda?
I would move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say, any discussion? No discussion.
No.
Okay, although then we'll go ahead and vote on that motion to approve the approval of the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. We have approved the consent agenda. Moving on to unfinished business, we have three items listed. We have the Liz Communications meeting, the Liz Loomis Communications meeting that I believe occurred on Thursday. We're going to briefly discuss Plan B if our levy lid lift request fails, and then we're going to talk about the City of Bellingham's interlocal agreement, which I'm going to do under new business. So first, for the communications meeting, I believe the chief and Tim, you were both there, correct?
That's correct.
You guys want to address anything that we need to know about that? Or give us a summary?
I'll defer to Commissioner Johnson.
Okay. And I know there was information in the packet about it, but anything you want to add, Tim?
No, I think we kind of reviewed the results of our special meeting on May the 1st and talked about getting information out, press releases, that sort of thing. I see there is a press release on KGMI this morning about the levy lid lift. So it sounds like we're moving forward on getting that information out there. I don't think I have any other outstanding action items from that meeting.
Okay.
We did talk about an open house. And I don't know if a date's been set for that yet. We're batting around ideas at that meeting about a date for an open house.
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw an email about somebody asking for dates. Are we still working on that, Chief? Or
Yes, the local, I've been told by the union leaders, they're going to do a pancake feed open house kind of thing right before, in about mid-July, early to mid-July, after the 4th. And Liz and her crew had also suggested that we do something prior. So we're looking at doing like a coffee with the fire chief kind of thing, just kind of an informal come in and maybe do some station tours and talk about, let's look at our apparatus and ask questions. What do you want to know? Kind of thing. So I don't have a date for that in June, but that's currently where I'm kind of leading towards something not so grand, but a little more informal, and allow people to come in and ask questions.
Sounds good. Anything else, Tim?
No, not for me.
Okay, on the communications meeting. Okay. Okay, great. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, just kind of a general question to the room here on how we are doing these meetings. And I'm not necessarily, for or against either idea. I just wanted to, talk about it is if we want to make a habit of making these meetings just kind of a, not necessarily a public meeting. So, only one commissioner may attend, or if there's value in just getting in the habit of publicizing these and making these a public meeting, kind of just in case, either more than one commissioner might want to participate on a monthly basis. I'm just kind of curious to know what everybody, would think about that either way.
Now, which meetings are you referring to, Mark?
The monthly ones with Liz.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Because it seemed like the first time it was sort of oops, maybe we should have made this a public meeting so that all three of us could participate if we wanted to. Mm-hmm. And then the next one, I think it was a public meeting, and I can't remember how many participated. And then the third one may have been the one that just happened. I'm not sure. I kind of lost track of it, but I'm just wondering if we should have kind of a sort of a standard.
Yeah, I have the same thought has occurred to me, because invariably, I think, I'm going to try to attend that, and then something comes up and I learn that Tim has been there, so then I don't go. One option, so we could either, I think our options include making them public meetings so that more than one of us can go, or perhaps maybe somebody might be willing to be our point person with Liz and that team and just go to the meeting every week, or every, somebody regular like Tim who's been attending. What do you guys think? Tim, your thoughts?
Or another option would be to rotate it around. I think it'd be good if one commissioner was there and we can take turns, on being on those calls. I'm happy to, have one of you guys attend the next one in June.
Okay.
I think it'd be good, maybe have for folks to be hearing, for one of you to hear what's going on in the meetings. It doesn't necessarily need to be me each time.
Sure, I'd certainly be willing to either split them with you or take them on. Mark, what are your preferences? Are you happy if one of us does that and reports that at meetings, or would you like to be in the mix too?
Yes. I also, how schedules go with anybody really is things could come up or spontaneously, you're available and there might be an interest. I could see that happening with me where maybe, it's your turn, Steve, or maybe it's Tim's turn, and yet, I've got, some time today and the meeting's happening. And even though I maybe didn't plan for it, I kind of maybe like to see what's going on. So I don't know. I know it might be some extra work administratively for Jason and his team to post those. But then again, there's also some added value, I think, in transparency, especially with what's kind of coming up in the next few months. And if one of our customers wanted to attend, then they would have hopefully seen an announcement or heard about it, or at least have the ability to attend. So I kind of like the idea of flexibility and transparency. But again, whether the cost of administrative work is worth it, I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to, flesh out here.
Yeah.
It does,
Your thoughts?
it does take up some time. The meetings have to be posted essentially 48 hours prior to. So we would need we would need to know prior to if two commissioners were going to attend or not.
Would it work if we schedule out the next few at least, on a rotating basis? For instance, I could go to the next one as Tim suggested, and then maybe we put Mark on the hook for the following one. And one primary commissioner will be there, and if he can't make it, obviously he can make arrangements for another commissioner to go in his place. And then if a second or third commissioner signs in, the agreement could just be that we don't conduct any business there, that commissioner's there maybe just to ask a couple of questions if they have it, or listen. So that way we're not conducting fire district business between commissioners during that meeting.
That's a valid point.
So I
Yeah.
think we'd be okay as long as, again, both commissioners didn't interact and conduct business. And we can check with our lawyer just to be sure that works.
Yeah.
So
No,
why don't I,
sense.
does that sound like something we could do? Okay.
I will ask Mr. Quinn.
Okay. Thanks, Chief. And then I can, either send a schedule or something like that, and with just to make sure we have every meeting covered with a primary commissioner, and then yeah,
that makes sense. Thank you.
okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. All right, anything else on that meeting? Thank you for bringing that up, Mark. That's great. I agree. We do need to be nice to have a little more consistency there. Nothing else about that subject? Okay, moving on to next, Plan B. If the levy lid lift, I think I'm going to make a motion that we change the term levy lid lift, because none of us can say it the first time. So I think we should think of another name. Anyway, if the levy lid lift fails, that's what Plan B is, right? So is there new information, Chief, on that this week?
Not really any new information. I think that the best really Plan B is to keep District 4 as much a part of the auto aid agreement as we can. And so we'll need to reach out to the city of Bellingham and obviously to North Wacom, that's fairly well taken care of. But we would need to figure out how far your budget will go.
Yeah.
And what kind of staffing that looks like. Is it 12 hours a day? Is it 8 hours a day? Is it 10 hours a day? And then that would be what I mean, I said it during the public hearing, but you'll get what you get, right? You'll get what you pay for. And that's the unfortunate reality. The biggest thing will be to keep intact the auto, and as much as we can, the auto and the mutual aid agreements between District 4, District 21, Bellingham, and all those people. And it's going to take, we're going to have to show Bellingham that we're doing as much as we can with everything we have. I mean, we're going to have to stay in their good graces.
Yeah,
they're not going to deny coverage, but if we can keep it at an auto aid level, assistance will come faster.
For our taxpayers, I think it would be a good idea for us to perhaps think about putting a timeline on developing a Plan B, and perhaps some sort of a deadline on when we're going to have the Plan B essentially sketched out and ready to go. Subject to, if it does fail, then there might be some final details, but maybe Chief, you and I can talk offline about kind of putting a timeline on, so that we make sure we get a plan together by the time we need it.
Yeah, I can. I think we can have that ready for next meeting to show basically what we, our best guess scenario of what it would look like.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to make it that ambitious, if you've
Yep.
got time to do that, that would be great. We'd at least have a draft to look at.
Yep.
Okay. Mark, Tim, any comments or questions on Plan B?
I think I put this request in to have a discussion about Plan B last
Great.
time, and I guess I don't know if it's a parallel path or could be part of Plan B, but we talked about the councilmanic bond and doing a non-voting bond.
Yeah.
And I guess even if we're successful in getting the voters to pass a new levy lid lift, we would still have to have that discussion. And I noticed, I went back and looked at the District 21 board meeting in March, and they had a presentation from a gentleman from DA Davidson, who talked about how the bond process works. And I thought it was a great presentation, and might be something that at some point we maybe want to have that person talk with us as well about using that tool if we get to the point where we're ready to look at some capital improvement funding.
Right. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that is sort of part of the Plan B, but also it's going to happen probably, or need to be considered regardless of whether the levy rate passes or not. Because even with the approval of that levy lid lift, we're still going to need money for those capital improvements. So is that what I'm hearing you say? And
yeah, thank you for summarizing that a lot more clearer than simpler
well,
than
no,
I was
I'm
going there. But that is, yeah,
I understand.
yep.
Yeah, and so I think I agree. I think it's a good idea to get them to make us a presentation, if for no other reason than our constituents can tune in. And they did it in a public meeting, right? District 21.
Yes.
It was in their board meeting in March, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd be happy to reach out to them and try to get them on our schedule. You guys want to try for next month, or you want me to see what their availability is and go from there?
I can reach out to the gentleman from DA
Okay.
Davidson.
Yeah, please feel free to give them
it.
your number, and yeah.
Okay.
So, okay. Sounds good. So yeah, we'll do that. And then I think, yeah, so really that councilmatic thing is needs its own kind of timeline, because we need to consider that regardless of what the Plan B looks like. So,
Well,
Right.
the thing is, I spoke in error with councilmanic bonds. You can't use them you can only use them for capital expenses. So it won't be an option. If the levy were to fail, there's no way to loan yourself operations money.
right. No,
So
that understood.
Yeah, we would still have to do the capital things. Yes, you'd still need a councilmanic bond.
Yeah.
The danger is that it's going to eat into operations money, as opposed to the way we structured the levy. If the levy were to pass, we're planning for those funds to pay for the councilmanic bond
Right.
without
Right.
levy passage.
Yes.
Every dollar that's not put into operations is going to, it's gonna affect literally how many hours a day you've got boots on the ground. So that will have to be a consideration. It may be that we take very small ones. We decide what the critical project is, or critical to, and tackle those. And
Makes sense. Yep. Thank you for bringing that up. So it really is, it is linked to the Plan B as well. You're right. So, okay. Well, so we start with getting a presentation scheduled.
Yep.
That gentleman, and kind of go from there. Does that sound
Yes.
reasonable? Everybody? Okay.
Yes.
What else about Plan B? Anybody have anything else?
I don't.
Okay.
Unmuting myself just quickly, and just Chief, looking into your crystal ball. So how is it weeks or months that you think, the vote happens, the voters don't approve, is it weeks or months for you to kind of adjust your operations in what would be the reduction of services?
Well, the contract lasts through December 31. So services will stay as they are through December 31. So January 1 would be the new level of service date, I guess, if the worst case scenario. So we've got until then to implement anything. I would expect that if you came to the District 21 board prior to that, and we have a contract through this year, but we're to say, hey, look, we want to, October 1, last quarter of 2023, we want to pare down. We want to move to the new staffing model to save funds going into next year, save that fourth quarter payment. That might be, I seem like a reasonable group of people to me. That might be a good option as well. We would have to exercise just to
stay afloat.
Yeah, and for longer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's we were the only levy on the ballot this year.
I saw that. Yeah.
So I don't know how many. It sounds like there's going to be a runoff for county executive, so there'll be some more people joining on the ballot, and it could be that same way with I believe Bellingham mayor, but the fewer people that join in, the more this election is going to cost the district. I was really hoping that I would be standing in line to turn everything in, but I was the only one. So at this point, I you know what I mean? I would rather, like, we're getting to the point where we're counting pennies. And so I was hoping that there'd be a lot of people in this election. So we'll have to see how that goes. Like I said, it may be that we ask, to come out of the agreement in Q4, save those funds going forward and implement. So Commissioner Land, really, it's going to be, I hate to say it, but it won't be very hard to come up with what Plan B looks like operationally. When to pull the trigger will be, the three of you will have to decide when fiscally we need to pull that trigger if the levy doesn't pass.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is, let's say the vote was today, it was voted down, and we needed to make some pretty significant, fiscal adjustments to be able to pay our bills and make ends meet. You could have a plan to reduce services and how that would affect, payments weeks, is what I'm kind of hearing.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
And I want, I'm sure that I know that the people will review this recording later. We have a number of vacancies in North Wacom. No firefighter's going to lose their job in this. If we were fully staffed, then we would be talking about people's livelihoods. Thankfully, we're not. So
yeah,
I just wanted to remind everybody there's not a human component to this discussion. That makes it that much harder. But yeah, we're in a good position personnel wise if this were to happen now.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, last call for Plan B for now. All right, moving on to, and I'm going to call this new business because we haven't really, we've had the agreement for a while, but it's been substantially changed. So the City of Bellingham's interlocal agreement regarding Station 12. Chief, you want to summarize what's changed?
Currently, we have an agreement with the City of Bellingham that brings in a little more than $60,000 a year in revenue to District 4 for the training grounds and the big classroom in the admin building Tuesday through Thursday. This is a change to that agreement. It's an increase in the amount of use. Bellingham is hurting for office space. The Bellingham Fire is, and they are interested in renting the office space as well as one additional day in the large classroom. So it'd be Monday through Thursday in the large classroom during business hours. And so this contract is for what is currently happening on the training grounds plus the office space in the admin building. And the word is unlimited use. So they would move into that building. It would be their training division. This changes the level of compensation from $60,000 to $120,000 a year. So it's on the heels of our last conversation, the last topic. It's a needed source of revenue. I think it would be a good use of the building, and it does have a get out clause. If it doesn't work for us, if District 4 and District 21 decide that it's too cumbersome, then we can get out. It's a loss of revenue, but we could get out. It has been reviewed by Eric Quinn, our legal counsel. He did have some suggestions, some changes he requested. I resent it through Chief Hewitt, and their legal signed off on the changes we had requested. So it's been vetted by our attorney. And yeah, it's here for your consideration today.
So discussion about that. I'd like to offer a couple thoughts based on what I've read and what you've said there. I like the idea, of course, for the additional revenue. I like the fact that at least the interior of the building is a nice building, and that it's empty right now is actually going to get used. And I think hopefully it will only bode good things for our relationship with the city of Bellingham moving forward, during the times when we're trying to get all of to keep the fire service the way it is. So I'm not seeing any big downsides, but please feel free to point any out. Mark, any comments? Tim?
I'm encouraged, the Bellingham Fire Department has been a great partner, very reliable, long-term. And this is really a great next step for that partnership, and it'll just strengthen it. I also like the fact that all that empty space will now be utilized. Of course, it's going to make even that much more important that we take care of our facilities, which I think we all want to do. I'm not seeing a downside.
Yeah, I would agree with both of your comments. It's good to be able to find a use for underutilized asset for us and provide us with some additional source of revenue. So I agree with what you both have said, and that I think it's great that we can continue partnering with the city of Bellingham Fire Department on this. I guess the only question I did have as I read through that agreement, it looked like the term was just the whole year of 2023. So they have not already started using the facility,
No,
right? Would this
they have
start
not.
mid-year?
Correct.
Basically go for 6 months then, or are we gonna go longer than December 2023?
It'll go longer than December of 2023. It's the way it's written. It's for access for use in years subsequent to 2023. So it'll roll on, unless either party decides that it's not a good fit, not working, too complicated, then both parties have the ability to back out of the agreement. So
Okay, so there is no end date on the term of the agreement then.
correct.
Okay. So that's one of the things that's being modified. I would take it in the copy that we received in packet.
Well,
Yeah, it should.
it does say the end of, like you said, Tim, I believe the end of this year. But I'm wondering, is that standard language that basically says that's the term of this contract, and unless it's changed by either party, it just rolls on? Or
So in paragraph 10 under the fee section,
yep.
it says, like sentence 2, for access and use in years subsequent to 2023, payment shall increase annually by the annual percentage change in the CPI. So it does memorialize that it would so that section, but yes, I see under term
Yeah.
where it
Right.
it does
Yeah.
say shall expire December 31st, 2023. You know what? I will have to get an addendum. We'll have to get an addendum to this because I think both parties missed that. Actually, City Council's already approved this and they're routing it for signatures right now. So you guys were the make it or break it. But I will reach out to Chief Hewitt and we will get, like I said, an addendum to this. And this would at least be through 2023. So we have time to do the addendum that would change the term.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so that brings me to the next issue, which is what do you need from us at this meeting? Do we need to give you the go ahead or do we all need to make a motion to approve this? What do you need from us at this point? Because like you said, we can approve it and then just approve the addendum later on.
Well, you and I both need the board's approval to sign it because it's got you and it needs your signature and mine. So I would assume that a motion would need to be made.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, at this point, based on what we've talked about, I'm comfortable moving forward with approving that subject to, because it simply does in the term, it does terminate it at the end of the year. And then, like you said, Chief, we can always approve an addendum to it later, which an option to extend it, by action of the board for another year, to make it simple or something. Am I summarizing that correctly?
Yes, sir.
Mark, Tim, you got any issue with going ahead and approving it so that we don't throw a monkey wrench in things and we let things get started?
No, I'm comfortable with approving it with
Okay.
the modification we just talked about.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. All right. Any other discussion before I entertain a motion to approve that? Okay. Well, I'll just go ahead and make the motion myself. So let me pull that up. Okay, so I make a motion that the board approve the interlocal agreement between the City of Bellingham and Whatcom County Fire Protection District 4 concerning the use of the Britton Loop Training Facility as presented to us by the chief here in our packet, with the note that with the fact that we've noted that it is technically in effect only till the end of this year, but the board will certainly consider an addendum extending it beyond the end of 2023 at our option. So I make a motion that we approve that.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion about that?
No.
No further discussion? Sorry, Tim, was that just a no?
That was a no. No
Okay.
discussion.
Great. Okay, so all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries 3-0. That interlocal agreement is approved. All right. That moves us to any other new business. Is there any other new business we need to add to this we haven't discussed?
No, sir.
No other new business? Moving on to correspondence. It's not listed on the agenda, but we did have, I believe, I know I got it. I think it might have gone to other people as well. A note from Cascade Ambulance asking us to allow them to make a presentation to perhaps help us out with transports and emergency medical care. So I think that we certainly need to talk to Cascade and allow them to make us a presentation at some point so that we can consider how that might fit in with the support we provide to our district constituents. So how do we want to do that? Do we want to, what are your guys' thoughts? Do we want to schedule a presentation during a council meeting? Do you want one of us like me or someone to reach out to them first and kind of get an initial a take on what they're offering, which I'd be happy to do. Mark, what are your thoughts? Tim?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of,
You got the email too, right? I'm sorry.
yeah, no, I
You got it.
did.
Okay.
I'm kind of, and I haven't done anything with it. But yeah, I'm divided. I think on one hand, we really owe it to our customers, you know, to look into other options, financial options. So that part of me says, yeah, we should, you know, we need to hear them, need to get their proposal or at least information. The other half of me is, you know, I don't want to start. I don't want to cut services, and so, you know, I'm torn. But I think at the end of the day, the fiduciary responsibility, from my perspective anyway, would be, yeah, we need to be informed. We need to hear what they have to say.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, I think the responsible thing is to find out what they think they can offer and go from there. Tim?
I also got the email, and I would agree. I think it's part of our due diligence to at least investigate options and at least understand what that means and what the benefits and the consequences of something like that would look like. So I'm certainly open to at least exploring it and learning more.
Well, how would it be if I reached out to him? I can answer on our behalf and just simply thank him for his interest and maybe set up a time to talk with him one-on-one and kind of get an idea of what they're thinking and then go from there.
Yeah.
Report back to you guys.
Yeah, if you're willing to do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'm happy to. Is that good with you, Tim?
Yes, thank you, Steve. That's a great idea. Appreciate
Okay.
you doing that.
Yep, no problem. Okay, so I will reach out to them. And
If I could just really quick, just
yes, sorry,
just
go
so
ahead.
you're aware, I think it would be best if we looked at a apples to apples comparison before. Yeah, I think we need to look at apples to apples comparison, and maybe that's done post presentation. Also, there could be a number of labor issues that would need to be sorted out.
Absolutely.
And
frankly, labor is going to have concerns about this, I'm sure, because
they're going to have massive concerns, and I
understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and so I just want,
we want to do what's right by our people too.
What's that?
We want to do what's right by our people too.
And when we say our people, we don't just mean those in uniform. We also mean those that we respond to.
All of them. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So, anyway, I understand that the board has a fiduciary responsibility. I just wanted to chime in and say that there's some licensing concerns that we may have as far as are they even able to do those kind of things,
For sure.
Operationally and logistically, as well as a number of labor issues that could crop up from this. So just so, and it sounds like the local their public relations person is kind of reaching out to you.
Yeah,
express concern about the email. As it is a public document. I did send it to labor, just so you know, because it does concern them. And I have one of the things I pride myself on is having a very transparent relationship with our labor group. This is not something I want them to find out by watching the recording of a meeting. So, yep. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to remain totally above board about like you said, and be very clear. And I'm sure when I meet with the union person tomorrow, I will make a commitment to make sure they stay informed as to what we're considering. And so, good. Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else on that subject?
Having sort of a introductory this is who we are, these are the kind of services we offer, is a far cry from, hey, let's start comparing, bids. What can 21 do? What can North Cascade Ambulance do? I mean, that's not even, I would think, really going to even be part of this first meeting. But
No.
like I think the three of us have said, it's due diligence.
Yep,
We owe our
absolutely.
taxpayers and our customers an obligation, as the people that, have something to say about the budget and the purse strings. So it's a logical step that Steve would take to just, meet with this person.
Absolutely. I can't, it would be unconscionable for us to go to the citizens 1 month and tell them that we are out of money and need more, and then ignore this, yeah, I wouldn't want to be part of an organization that did that. I understand. I just was just giving you some of my considerations as, as we're thinking long-term.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Well, it sounds like we're on the same page. So I will meet both with the union person and set up a chat with the Cascade Ambulance gentleman, and we'll go from there. All right. So I think that was all the correspondence that I saw in the packet. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, it is. Okay. So next item on the agenda is our board meeting for June 12th of this year. Everybody look good for you still? You guys?
Yep, that works for me.
Looks good.
I will be out of town, but I will be able to participate. So, okay. And any agenda items for the next meeting that you'd like to voice now versus sending them to Jenny or the chief later? Okay.
None for me.
Okay, we'll have plenty of opportunity to add to that later. All right. Please don't forget to go down, and I'm talking to myself here. Please don't forget to go down to the fire station and sign the paperwork, which I'm going to leave and do right now after the meeting, I promise. So, all right.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep, thank you. And with that, we are adjourned.
Thanks.
Thank you.